Welcoming new residents to the villa. Personal care. Contact us today to schedule lunch and a tour.
Stay tuned to PBS 39 for an all-new episode of Focus. As baseball season begins, PBS shares the life and legacy of Jackie Robinson in a new Ken Burns documentary. We hear from local leaders about the athlete's role in the civil rights movement. Plus, we introduce the new soccer team in town, meet the Bethlehem Steel Football Club, and hear more about the minor league sports making a major impact on the region. Right now on Focus. Focus is for our community.
Focus showcases the people,
The places, and the issues that matter to you.
Focus on what matters.
You never know what you're going to see when you tune into Focus.
Support for Focus is provided by Univest, Banking, Insurance, Investments, Fellowship Community, Continuing Care with Spirit, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Laura McHugh, broadcasting from the PPL Public Media Center at PBS 39. In this episode, we focus on sports, beginning with a leader on and off the field, Jackie Robinson. Ken Burns' new 4-hour documentary about the legendary athlete airs on PBS 39 this week. And as the documentary states, if you only know the legend, you don't know the man. Here with a preview is Focus reporter Grover Silcox.
Thanks, Laura. The documentary about the legendary Jackie Robinson offers the life story of the star athlete who broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball and opened the door for other African-American players. Jackie Robinson proved himself a leader against all the odds on the ball field, in the March for Civil Rights, and as a man of exemplary character. Ken Burns' most recent documentary, Jackie Robinson, shows how this legendary ball player stepped up to the plate and shattered the color barrier in Major League Baseball.
He's a trailblazer on the vanguard of the civil rights movement, forward-thinking.
Jackie attended UCLA and won varsity letters in baseball, basketball, football, and track. After a stint in the U.S. Army, he played shortstop for the Kansas City Monarchs in the All-Negro League. Later that year, he broke a 60-year color line when he signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers farm team, the Montreal Royals. In 1947, he moved up to the Dodgers as the first African-American player in Major League Baseball.
He could hit for batting average, he hit for power, he could run, he could field, he could throw.
Branch Rickey, president and general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, saw in Robinson a great ball player and a man strong enough to withstand the racism he was sure to face. Rich Westcott, author of Champions of Philadelphia and 24 other books about the Phillies and baseball, describes Robinson as the right man at the right time.
He was a good all-around athlete, and he was smart, and he had everything Branch Rickey was looking for.
He had an extraordinary, a superhuman constitution for being able to deflect and absorb the hatred that was directed his way.
Hatred rooted in racism that went far beyond the ball field. John Robinson, past president of the Easton chapter of the NAACP, remembers going to Philly's Connie Mack Stadium as a child and watching his hero at second base, Jackie Robinson.
He chose the battle, and he never gave up. I don't ever recall Jackie Robinson taking a step back.
The team would go into the restaurant for a meal, but the restaurant wouldn't accept African-American players. They'd have to stay in the bus, and the others would bring them their meal, and then the same would happen with hotels.
Growing up, Jackie pushed back when confronted by bigotry. He saw his older brother, Mac, win a silver medal in track at the 1936 Olympics and come home to a menial job because blacks were shut out of coaching jobs and other opportunities. But years later, when he signed on as a Brooklyn Dodger, he promised to ignore the jeers and taunts.
Jackie, in his quiet, humble way, made the classic statement, and that is, if you hit me on one cheek, I have two. He was going to be able to take it, and whatever you did or tried to do to prevent me from being success is not going to stop me. Jackie was in it to win it.
Jackie showed the world what he could do.
He hit over 300, I think it was 6 times, 290s a couple times, was an MVP. I mean, he could do everything. He was Rookie of the Year in his first year and continued to have some great years. So he had the numbers, and today, I guess if you look at the analytics, he would have been off the charts.
Jackie proved his mettle in the face of bigotry, but he also had allies, such as teammate Pee Wee Reese.
Pee Wee Reese, who was a Southerner from Kentucky, became one of the strong supporters of Robinson and the guy who stood up for him against all the bigots.
The St. Louis Cardinals were nasty to Jackie and threatened to strike if he played. The Phillies hurled racial epithets at him from the dugout.
It was a couple guys on the Phillies, and not the whole team, but they had a couple racist guys who gave Robinson a lot of trouble, one being the manager, Ben Chapman.
Ironically, it was a Philly, Lee Handley, who was the first player from an opposing team to wish him well. Jackie helped lead the Dodgers to 6 World Series and a championship win before retiring in 1956.
You have to go well beyond baseball to describe Jackie Robinson's contribution to mankind.
Jackie was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962, but his legacy continued to unfold. Dr. James Peterson, director of Africana Studies at Lehigh University, underscores how Robinson continued working to level the playing field even after he retired.
He served on the board of the NAACP. He stayed vocal about issues that mattered in terms of civil rights.
When you sit back and look at history of people who make lasting contributions to our society, they all end up having that similar characteristic. They gave it all. They didn't leave anything behind. And that's what I love and respect so much about Jackie.
We owe a debt. And I think the way you pay that debt back is by serving society around the same kinds of social justice issues.
For Jackie Robinson, baseball wasn't just America's pastime. It was a way to advance equal rights for every American. For Focus, I'm Grover Silcox reporting.
Thank you, Grover. Jackie Robinson airs on PBS 39 Sunday, April 17th, starting at 7 p.m. We now turn to the minor league sports making a major impact on the region. In 2008, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs began playing at Coca-Cola Park in Allentown. The Lehigh Valley Steelhawks brought arena football to the region, and in 2014, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms skated onto the scene. This month, another new team joined the roster to carry on a tradition with deep roots in the region. For more, we turn to Focus reporter Brittany Garzillo.
Laura, there's a new team in town. The Bethlehem Steel Football Club is the official United Soccer League affiliate of the Philadelphia Union of Major League Soccer. Though their inaugural season recently began, their history in Bethlehem dates back to the early 1900s. Let's take a look at this year's team and a legacy that puts them in a league of their own.
Standing tall over Bethlehem, these blast furnaces are a symbol of American industry.
Bethlehem Steel was a thriving industry with up to 30,000 people working here who came from all over the world.
But in the early 1900s, the name Bethlehem Steel meant more than manufacturing.
When these families came from all over the world, they brought with them the culture of soccer.
They were known as the Bethlehem Steel Soccer Club. For Dean Koski, head coach of the Lehigh University men's soccer team,
Good. Another stretch.
Their legacy was one for the record books.
It ended up emerging as one of the best professional team we had in our country.
Today, there's a new chapter to that story. About 100 years later, the Bethlehem Steel soccer legacy lives on.
Let's make some noise as we welcome your Bethlehem Steel FC!
There
was no fluff about those people back then, and we intend to carry on that tradition.
Brendan Burke is the head coach for the Bethlehem Steel Football Club, also known as Bethlehem Steel FC, the new official United Soccer League affiliate of the Philadelphia Union.
It's a great honor for me, and I know it's a great honor for the players, and we've spent a lot of time teaching the players the history and trying to ingrain that in their mentality.
More than 3,600 fans came out to support the team during their inaugural home opener against FC Cincinnati at Lehigh University's Goodman Stadium in Bethlehem.
There's not many teams in the U.S. that have a history like Bethlehem Steel, so for us to come in and kind of, starting a new chapter in that is pretty exciting for us.
Defender Ryan Richter is the team's captain. Richter grew up in Bucks County, about an hour south of Bethlehem.
The people that come out to see us are going to see an exciting style of soccer, but most importantly, a winning style of soccer.
Winning was a way of life for the Bethlehem Steel Soccer Club in its heyday. The team played from 1913 to 1930 with 5 National Cup title wins.
According to BethlehemSteelSoccer.org, the team began as an amateur league club and eventually became a founding member of the American Soccer League. Bethlehem Steel built this field that they played on, today known as the Rocco Calvo Field at Moravian College. And while it holds only distant memories of Bethlehem Steel soccer, a plaque on the side of the stadium showcases its winning record.
Located about 6 miles away is the team's new home turf, Murray H. Goodman Stadium at Lehigh University.
I can imagine that for the many families whose grandfathers and great-grandfathers and fathers worked at Bethlehem Steel, this has to be really neat.
It's really exciting to be part of this new kind of old, new in between, so it's really exciting for me.
Bulu Atif Akinyoti is a midfielder on the team.
We're a young group mixed with some veterans, and I think the energy level for us is going to be high, and we're going to be looking to entertain our fans and play exciting soccer.
During the home opener, you could sense that energy in the stands. Meet the East End Army, the team's official supporters group. Joined by Bethlehem's McCabe Pipe Band, the 60-member group occupies a section of the stands that they refer to as the Forge.
Without the Forge, there is no Steel. So we wanted to play with that and play it into the team name.
Though the home opener ended with a 2-1 loss, for some, this team is a big win for Bethlehem.
I mean, we have the Iron Pigs, we have the Phantoms, so now we have soccer, so it's really great.
It means a lot that the Union decided to put a team here, and not only that, to honor the strong tradition of soccer in this town by calling the team Bethlehem Steel FC.
The city of Bethlehem, I think, still embodies what we want to embody on the field, which is a somewhat eclectic community, and a community that when you drive through it, you can get a sense of what the people are like, and we want our players to represent all of that.
Representing the tradition and pride that was and still is Bethlehem Steel Soccer. For Focus, I'm Brittany Garzillo reporting.
Thank you, Brittany. Interestingly enough, a member of the Lehigh University men's soccer team will carry on his soccer career with the Bethlehem Steel FC. Forward Jamie Lucchini of Allegheny County was recently signed by the team. To learn more about the impact of minor league sports on the region, we've asked leaders of the teams to join us. From the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, Ron Ruschi is the Director of Corporate Partnerships. From the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, Executive Vice President Chris Porica. From the Bethlehem Steel Football Club, Managing Director Rich Searles. And finally joining us from Discover Lehigh Valley is President Mike Stershik. Thank you each for joining us, especially the team members. I know you're mid-season, all of you, so we really appreciate any time that you can give us.
Our pleasure.
Ron, I'd like to start with you. When the
Sure.
Iron Pigs came here in 2008, what was the sports climate like in the Lehigh Valley?
You know, it was interesting. I've been in the Lehigh Valley for about a little over 20 years now, and there had been always talk and discussion about, well, wouldn't it be great if, and wouldn't it be nice if? And there were a couple of almost runs where some teams had initiated some plans and even began, in one particular case, even begin to build a stadium, but nothing ever came to fruition. So I think there was a lot of initial naysayers. It'll never get done. It'll never get built. And I think once everybody understood that, hey, this was something legitimate, this was something that was going to be real, that they can call their own, the Valley quickly got excited about it and began to support it.
And so that was in 2008. How have attendance numbers been since then?
Been fantastic. We receive support at Coca-Cola Park like almost no other organization in minor league baseball. For our first 8 seasons, the Iron Pigs have averaged over 600,000 people, which is by far, in a way, heads and tails above anybody else in the country. So we know that we're very lucky. We receive the kind of support each night, even in April, when it's going to be a little chilly, that most teams don't have the opportunity to experience. So we're truly blessed.
Chris, when the Phantoms opened in the Lehigh Valley in 2014, what attendance figures did you expect, and what have they brought forward?
Yeah,
how have they turned out?
You know, you always come in and your hopes, I guess, and dreams are that you're going to be sold out every night in sports. But you know, you realize that might not happen. But I think with everything that we've experienced, the sellouts and the amount of people that have supported us, the same thing. I mean, I think the Lehigh Valley is tremendous for sports and supporting all the teams. I mean, there's no other place you can really go where you're going to have top level sports like we have here in the Lehigh Valley, and it's tremendous.
And so in 2014, you opened in PPL Center. This is a brand new arena built for this purpose in downtown Allentown. How many seats are in it?
We have 8,420, so 8,420 for a sellout, and then we can go into standing room. Our largest crowd has been over 9,000, so very happy with the support we've gotten from the Lehigh Valley.
And similar in size to Coca-Cola Park.
Correct, about 8,200 fixed seats, and we call capacity 10,100, and we average just shy of 9,000 a night over the course of a 5-month season. So.
And Chris, I know you mentioned to me that you're selling out a majority of your games still.
Yeah,
as you enter the tail end of your second season.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a game tomorrow. Tomorrow, and that's we're going to be over capacity for that game. That'll put us above 22 sellouts. We hopefully will get to 25 with the remaining couple of games, and that'll be higher than we were last year.
So Rich.
No pressure, right?
Right, exactly. But over 3,000 people came to the first game. You're only one game, home game into the season at this point.
Yeah, we're very excited. You know, we've really only been after this for about 3 months. So with the weather reports that came through for Sunday, we're a little concerned. But yeah, we got a little over 3,600 people in for our first game. Not bad. Yes.
And Mike, from your perspective, what does having all these people coming out and going to games do for the Valley?
Well, it's fabulous. The economic impact of this is tremendous, and there's on so many different levels. The first one, and I can't speak to soccer or hockey yet because the numbers aren't long enough history to be able to provide that. But for the Iron Pigs, with that 600,000 attendance that they're averaging each year, somewhere between 5 and 8% of them are visitors, people who are coming from outside the area and spending their money here. And they're not just coming to the games, they're actually coming in, spending the night. Some are doing, with their family, doing Crayola Factory. Some are doing the Dorney Park and other Da Vinci Science Center and other family attractions while they're here. We're estimating that somewhere between $3 and $5 million in economic benefit each year from those visitors coming in from outside the area. And that's just those visitors. What we're doing is we're actually keeping dollars here because people aren't going to need to travel to go see their favorite sports. They can see all of them here, and they'll be able to spend their money here and, as a result, keep those dollars here. And the other thing that's really important to remember is we're a region that doesn't have a brand, that doesn't have a brand that's on the map. Our brand is not there. So when you have Lehigh Valley in the crawl at ESPN or at in papers all over the country for the box score, and you see it on uniforms in cities all over the country, it really helps expand the footprint of our marketing efforts to make the brand all it can be.
So you're referring to the naming of the teams as the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, as opposed to necessarily the Allentown Iron Pigs or the Allentown
But Bethlehem Steel Football Club doesn't hurt, because everybody knows where that is.
And I think it also helped us with, when you look at partners, that's why it was vitally important for us to partner with someone like Lehigh Valley Health Network. So now we've kind of
got them under uniform.
Exactly right. So we got the best of both worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
Rich, how closely did you look at the Iron Pigs and the Phantoms as you were making the decision about where to locate this team?
Yeah, it's something you look at. It's important to understand the market. Whether it can support multiple sports teams. It's definitely something that was in the back of our minds. The good thing about soccer is, it appeals to a wide range of players and families and demographics. So the great thing about the Valley is, everyone, there is a wide range of folks that live here that have been playing soccer from, the time they were about 4 years old, like myself. So it was an easy decision.
Mike and Ron, I know you've been in the Valley for a long time, and when we think about where Coca-Cola Park is located and what Airport Road looked like 10 years ago, certainly where PPL Center is located in downtown Allentown, these stadiums and the teams that play in them have really made a major change to the landscape of the Lehigh Valley.
They've really brought a lot of economic activity to the areas surrounding the facilities. You look at both Coca-Cola Park and PPL Center, and you can see pretty significant economic impact with new restaurants, new retail operations, even new hotels that have been developed right around it to take advantage of the traffic that's being brought to those facilities.
How much are you involved in that part of it?
I think one of the best things we ever did, of course, was being able to align ourselves with a national brand, a worldwide brand in Coke. It was the first time that Coca-Cola had ever put their brand on any sports venue anywhere, not only in this country but anywhere in the world. So the Iron Pigs were very fortunate. We had a strong champion over at Lehigh Valley Coca-Cola Bottling Company in Joe Brake, who felt it was important for them to be involved early on in a major way. Just the really bringing that kind of a brand and associating the Iron Pigs with that kind of a global brand was it only helped us really get things not only started but further legitimize what we were all about.
And Chris, the owners of the Phantoms have been looking at the region for close to a decade, hadn't they?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of how we kind of settled on Lehigh Valley. Is they looked at it, they did some economic studies, and this was the place to put a minor league team. And I think you see that with all the teams in the region. Is we might be minor league teams, but really it's a major league city and community in the entire Lehigh Valley. And I think asking everybody who is involved with sports in the area, that it's tremendous that there's this many teams in this area.
I think what's critical here is that we've built some mass. We've really got this sports entertainment scene now that we didn't have more than 8 years ago. And it really has added to what we have to offer, not only to visitors, but to residents. And it really adds to the quality of life that we can offer our residents, and that's important.
Yeah, I agree with that. You look back at the World Cup viewing parties that happened right outside here. Hundreds of thousands of folks that came through here to watch the games, and actually, Lehigh Valley was on the map because they did cutaways from on ESPN. They were in Chicago and New York, and little old Bethlehem was there right there with them. So.
And as somebody who moved to the Lehigh Valley within the last 10 years, I now can't imagine this community without these teams and without the opportunity for ticket prices often starting around $10 and being able to go to games and bring your entire family for $10 to $15 a ticket. Mike, what kind of impact has that made overall on sort of the morale of the region?
Well, I think the biggest single thing is that it has added to the morale. I don't think anybody really thinks about that. Where there's a pride in Lehigh Valley, people always used to complain about there's nothing to do around here and look down on Lehigh Valley because they felt that way. Now, there's something going on all the time. In fact, some weekends there's too many things going on. But it's been fabulous for the psyche of the people who live here, and they feel really good about and are proud of Lehigh Valley.
And I think I've heard Kurt Landis, who's the general manager of the Iron Pigs, now describe that these stadiums, in some cases, are becoming like the village square, where you get to bump into your neighbors and see your neighbors and connect with people. And I can't go to a game. I have to admit, I haven't been to a Bethlehem Steel game yet.
We'll get you there.
But I haven't been to a game where I haven't bumped into neighbors and friends, and it's been a great way to reconnect with people.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, just baseball by its nature, just to being a little bit more slow-paced and being outdoors across 9 innings and sometimes 3.5 hours, you get a chance to get up, move around, walk around a little bit. It really does become more of a social gathering, more of an event. Yes, there's baseball certainly, and everybody's excited about that. But by and large, it's just a great night out. It's an alternative that we didn't have 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So the Valley's embraced it entirely.
And true for all the teams that are represented today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, next week, we'll focus on education and specifically on school violence, following a string of violent incidents involving students from across the Lehigh Valley. We'll assess the issue with a panel of experts and welcome your questions. Please look for us on social media, on Facebook at PBS39 or on Twitter at PBS39 Channel to submit your questions and your comments. We certainly appreciate you joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. Until then, remember to focus on what matters.
Pressler, Wolf & Miller Insurance offers a full range of personal protection and coverage choices as your family grows. Pressler, Wolf & Miller, proudly protecting the families of the Lehigh Valley since 1923.